Hi guys, so this is a really requested video that I used to get a lot of requests for back in the day when I worked at Sephora, and I've been hunting around YouTube and a lot of these videos are pretty popular. You know, how to get hired at MAC, how to get hired at Sephora, you know, why Sephora was so horrible and why Sephora was the worst place ever, or MAC or whatever. But I just thought, you know, I would share my tips on getting hired at Sephora because I was hired there with no prior retail experience, makeup experience, anything like that. And I was pretty young when I did start working there. And I'll just share a little bit about my experience, what happened, and why I left. So first off, my tips for getting hired at Sephora. If you, just to give you a little background information, so I got hired there during my freshman year of college, right at the beginning of my freshman year of college. So I was 18, or no, I was 19 because my birthday's in September. My birthday is in 2 weeks on September 30th. So everybody send me gifts. You know, if you're a subscriber, you just have to. I'm totally kidding. Anyway, so I was 19 when I first started working there, and I just went into the store one day and asked for the manager, and luckily our store director was there, who's like in charge of the hiring. And I talked to her and I said, you know, are you guys hiring? This was in August. So this was before I was hired. And I said, you know, are you guys hiring? Blah, blah, blah. I think she told me to come back, or she gave me an application or something. I don't know, whatever. So I filled out the application. I know I came back again and spoke to her, but that's really the way to do it since it's a retail store. Like, you kind of just should go in and say hi, introduce yourself, you know, look for the manager, ask if they're hiring, see if you can get an application. But showing face is always good, so it, you know, they can tell that you really do, you know, want this job, and they can kind of remember you. So then I don't remember like what happened or how I got it, but I remember I got an interview. I think I wore like a sundress to the interview. I don't know what I was thinking, but wear regular clothes. You know, I tried to do my makeup really cute, which at the time I'm sure it was horrible, but whatever, I didn't know that. And as long as you don't have to be like an amazing makeup artist to get hired at Sephora or MAC. MAC is a little bit harder. Sephora, they're a little bit more lenient with your makeup skills. MAC, I think as part of the interview, you have to do like a full face. For Sephora, you don't have to do that, and you'll most likely start as a cashier unless you have experience with makeup already. So I remember the interview. I think it was it a group interview? No, I don't think I had a group interview. God, I'm really like forgetting a lot of this stuff. But I had my interview, I got the job. I basically told the store director, like, look, I want this job really bad. Like, I'm passionate about this industry, about makeup. You know, I really just think it would be a fun, great place to work, which, you know, I did think that, and I was totally into Sephora. Like, I loved it 99% of the time, like up until really, really close to the time that it left. But I ended up getting the job. What helps is to have retail experience. If you have, that's what they want the most. Like, they don't care as much if you're like an amazing makeup artist. They want you to know how to sell. So make sure you play that up during your interview and your application process. Like, don't think you have to be like a star makeup artist. What they really want you to be able to do is sell their product. Have a passion for makeup, whether you're super good at it or not. Because working at Sephora, you will become good at makeup. It just happens. I've seen it happen with me, with all the other girls that I worked with. You know, it's a gradual thing, and you learn and you build your artistry. So that's really nice. Another thing to note is that Sephora, along with any other retail store, gets really busy during the holidays. So that being said, I looked to get hired around August. August is close to, I mean, it doesn't feel close to the holidays, but it kind of is, just in terms of getting employees ready and trained for the holiday season. So I think I went in August to ask for an application. I started in October. So it did take a while. So starting to really look around that time, September, October is perfect. That's when they really want to start getting the holiday hires. And I was hired as a temporary cashier at first, so I wasn't like, you know, technically they were gonna, you know, and allowed to just let me go after the holiday season. But if you're really good and they end up liking you, they will keep you. They kept a good amount of the girls in my batch. I know the next year that I was there, they didn't keep a lot of the girls. They hired like a zillion holiday hires. They were just taking anybody who, you know, wanted to work there, but they didn't keep everyone. But if you know, express like, hey, yes, I understand I'm a holiday hire, but I really want to stay on and blah, blah, blah. And just, you know, be better than the other employees. Do your job. you know, take a lot of shifts, take the crappy shifts, do everything in your power to show that you really want this job and you love it, and they definitely will keep you as long as, you know, you really want it. So that's kind of my advice for getting hired at Sephora. And yeah, so I was a cashier at first, a temporary cashier. They kept me on as a permanent hire. I was part-time though because I was in school. And then I started to express to my store director, like, hey, I want to do the makeup. I want to be the girls up at the front. Like, can I do that? So she slowly started to put me into color, they call it, which is the girls at the front of the store. And you get a brush belt and all that stuff. So once I got my brush belt, I was like so excited. I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was so proud of it. Yeah, and then eventually, like way down the line, now I don't think you can do makeup at all unless you're certified. Like they call it a CM, customized makeover. I don't think as an employee you can do that if you do not have a certification, which I got certified like a year and a half after I started working there. So I was doing makeup way before I was certified, but now I think it's a little bit more official, and you know, you don't get to do makeup unless you are certified, which is probably a good thing. But in terms of being up in color, they really kind of, you know, I just kind of had to go with it. I remember coming home one day and I was really upset because, you know, a girl came up to me and I didn't know what to do, and I started applying mascara, and I used like the mascara wand in the sample. Like, ugh, that's disgusting. Never do that. Side note, never like use their lip gloss wands, mascara wands. Always use the disposables. I don't even think you should use the disposables for that stuff anyway, just because say I take this lip gloss, ooh, I want to touch this and play with this. I'm rubbing this on the back of my hand. Then I put this back in there. It's still got my germs on it. So if you take a clean one, I mean, I'm being a little anal, but just after working there for so long and seeing all the people that like come in and rub everything all over their hands, it's just, I don't know. I would never go get my makeup done at a retail store just because, you know, I worked there and I don't want to, you know, it's just not, ooh. So I don't want to make this video a million years long. Basically, my experience at Sephora was a really, really positive one. I met so many amazing girls there that became really close friends with me. I would go in every day. The days would go by pretty quick because you're constantly moving around and walking around and helping people. That being said, it sucks to stand on your feet all day long. You don't make a commission at Sephora, so that sucks, because I would have made a killing if I made a commission. A killing. I wasn't paid that well, but I was also young, so it was like, whatever. It's retail. It's not gonna pay you, you know, a glorious amount of money. So my experience was really overall just positive until the end. So I worked there for 2.5 years, and after the second year, I started to become bitter about it. I started to really resent the nights and the weekends. That's one thing you have to take into account when you're in retail. Honey, you're gonna be working Saturday, 12 to 9, Friday. Sometimes they do shipment on Friday nights, meaning they bring all the lipsticks in and you have to place each individual one. Friday night till 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, Sunday, all day, you're standing on your feet, nights for sure. So it's tough. It's not a 9 to 5, and you're gonna have FOMO if you are like me and you like to go out with your friends and stuff. So that became really hard towards the end. I would really resent having to be there on a Saturday night when all my friends were out partying and I was just like here working. I was just like brewing. Also holidays like Black Friday, they, you know, mall opens on Thanksgiving at like 6 p.m. and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So all that stuff started to piss me off towards the end. But don't get me wrong, it was a really great experience. I have no regrets that I worked there. It was, you know, really good, fun environment for a girl who is passionate about, you know, the makeup industry, the beauty industry. Gratis is great. You get free products, free stuff. The more, it's like seniority. So when you're brand new, they give you like little crappy shit, like samples and stuff. And you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then after 2 years, I get like big bags full of shit. And I'm like, you know, where's my other $300 moisturizer that should be in here? So that was nice to have like all that free stuff. But basically towards the end, I started to resent the nights and the weekends the most. And I also had a manager who, my store director I really liked. We got along really well. She was really cool. But they hired another manager who was like one under her, so she was still pretty high, and she was just micromanaging to a T. She was a bully in a sense. Looking back, like, it's just really, I don't know, it sucks that she was just so you know, cold and miserable, because she really caused a lot of people to quit, which I quit at that time. You know, I was just over it. You know, the manager didn't help, and I was, you know, ready to stop working on the weekends, and that's when I became a nanny, and I loved doing that. I still do that on the side. I have my full-time job now, for anyone that is my subscriber and knows I quit my job. You know, the whole I quit my job story. I now do have a job, full-time job that I really like, but I still nanny for my one family, you know, on Thursday nights, and I love it. But yeah, that, you know, I digress, but that is my story of Sephora, my tips and tricks on how to get hired. If I left anything out, you know, just leave a question in the comments. I will be happy to answer you guys, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.